the ODM members of parliament who had made it very clear that they would not attend some of the gatherings that the deputy president was going to have in their area, because for them, they felt that that was campaign. In fact, Junaid Mohammed is on record saying that if I had attended any of those meetings, then I might have been forced to support the deputy president for 2022. Yet, they still have, as ODM, Raila Odinga as the presidential candidate. That's according to what John Badi said. And let me start with you, Honorable Kipruto Arap Kiro. What is this euphoria that politicians have, that the minute we finish elections, we immediately get into campaign mode? And I say politicians because when we look at their posturing, when we look at their statements, when we look at their launching of projects, or when they're out there talking to the people, literally, we are now focusing on 2022, whereas we should be focusing on development.
Well, I do agree with you, and also I agree with the President that our main focus should be what are we doing for Kenyans between now and the next election. Ask yourself where you come from. Is it really at the top of your mind who is going to be your next MP when you already have an MP? Probably. The answer is no, because it is not really priority, because the MP still got a lot of work to do. You may re-elect the same person or you elect somebody else altogether. So it is premature and also pretentious for anybody to say that they are launching projects. Some of these projects don't need to be launched, given the fact that our revenue this year that we're going to collect, half of it is going to pay debts, and it is going to increase in the next 7 years. We are likely to have no revenue because all the money that we'll be collecting, when all these debts mature, will be going to pay debt, and therefore there will be no revenue for development. So it is pretentious to do that and also hype the issue of campaigns much too early. But of course, I do understand the deputy president has a lot of ground to cover to instill confidence in people that he can be trusted with our taxes, and is somebody that we can trust with our lives, and therefore he has to sell himself to as many people as possible. But I think he should spend more time praying and also learning to forgive himself and forgive others, instead of spending a lot of time, taxpayers' money, because when he goes there, he's going as deputy president, not as candidate.
All right. And could it be a catch-22 of sorts to a position whereby we as Kenyans have allowed our politicians to politic all along, because we do not elect them based on results? Because if it was based on results, then all that Jubilee needs to do is ensure that they leave Kenya in a better place than it was yesterday. Then they're almost guaranteed of a ticket back into office.
I think you're right. As long as we vote people on the basis of tribe or party, then this is what we expect. So that what we call the manifesto is just to fulfill certain requirements in a campaign, but they are not the center. When I go to vote, I say I'm ODM 6 times. So I don't care who is the MCA, who is the what. When I go to vote for Jubilee, I don't care who is this, who is that. So the result is that when people go there, they don't have to work because they didn't promise you anything. And they know you will not judge them based on that. So when I go in, I just want to align myself with the right side. Do I want to be in Jubilee or do I want to be with Jacom? That is why you see even the members of parliament, the deputy president is coming into their hometown. They don't show up, which I call bad manners. They could easily show up, and when they're given a chance, they say, Your Excellency, our agenda for this region at this time, for this constituency, is 1, 2, 3. So when you go back, tell the president, put in money in parliament, do the budget, and come and do 1, 2, 3 for us. You don't run away and hide under your bed. Then you address people from under your bed that, oh, if I went there, it would have been this, it would have been that. Why do they do that? Because they are also in panic. If Jacom is not on the ballot, they may not themselves win. The deputy president, on the other hand, goes under the guise of launching. We need to actually define this launching thing. Because when it is one long road of 50 kilometers, how do you launch it? Because launching is like you launch a rocket. You you flag it off.
Maybe it's groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking or
ceremony.
what. But these ones which have been ongoing, I know the road they're talking about. It has started. If you are passing Ahero, you'll see it being done. Various places near Wendo, it is being done. So this launching business. And then when you launch, why are rally? I think they do not know. Kenyans are hurting. People are hungry. Offices are being closed. Most of them are empty. Town center by 10 o'clock, there are no vehicles. Things are tough. This drama and brouhaha and jumping around, launching things that Gwambo has done this is hurting this country. Let the deputy president know the performance of the Jubilee administration in this second term will determine whether he becomes president or not. If they perform poorly, and at the rate at which they are going, with the debt and the Finance Act and nothing much moving and all sorts of yapping here and there, the performance may end up being below average, 40%. That it will be an uphill task for him to convince Kenyans that it is him. Even if rigging has to be done, I think they should get back to the 4 agendas so that by the time the 2021, you are able to say, we talked about healthcare.
Here we are.
Is there any child dying out of rabies? No rabies, no malaria, no whatever. We talked about food security. Anybody sleeping hungry? Raise your hand, we see a corner. But if everybody now is hungry, there's nothing, and you are doing this and that and that. I urge Kenyans that you must elect leaders on the basis of competence. Otherwise, let me remind you, pain is the seed for change. Until you feel it in your bones, you will not change.
You'll not change. Honorable Kirwa, do you think we have reached a point, especially as Kenyans, where our democracy is mature enough to judge based on performance? Because what happens is that let me use the example of the deputy president. As he goes around launching projects, quote unquote, it is to sound and make it look like the government is performing. Whereas, literally, when it comes to our voting blocks, we really don't go by performance. We more or less go by tribe and region.
Well, Michael, you are very right, because in Africa especially, the party is secondary to the person, in the sense that if Raila today, for some reason, was to move out of ODM, all these MPs will never shout the word ODM. Likewise, Uhuru, if he was to move out of Jubilee today, Jubilee will be to the extent of the support that Ruto enjoys in Kenya. Otherwise, Jubilee that supports Uhuru will have effectively moved out of that. Why? It is because we still give a lot of importance to the person and a lot of importance to the tribe, to the extent that even integrity issues are not carried by the candidate. That's why some of the people who had problems in their offices, they went back to their homes and they were made governors, they were given different positions, regardless of the integrity issues that were following them. Now, secondly, I think something needs to be done, not about this, but about the body politic of Kenyans, because Kenyans produce leaders that is a reflection of their thinking. I still strongly believe Kenyans have not connected national resources to their own resources. When I steal from the Kenya government, it is seen that I'm not stolen anything. I'm trying to appropriate what belongs to the aliens. And in our traditions, we still clash with it. Remember, less than 100 years ago, we used to go to Western, to Luo Nyanza, to bring livestock. And those are people who are seen as heroes. Some of these things that are happening today, don't expect there will be a factor in the next election. The next election is about tribes and coalition of tribes or regions or individuals who are strong enough to team up and say we are teaming up against the other team. Remember, 2013, Uhuru and Ruto lied to us about the issue of Hague. And we elected them on that referendum, that was referendum against Hague. And they said it is Raila who took them there. And yet Raila and Kibaki voted against going to the Hague. But the two individuals said, let us not be vague. The answer is Hague. And later on, they turned it was Raila's baby. Now, what I'm worried about the deputy president is that he needs to cleanse himself. He needs to create some level of trust, because he's going to suffer the burden of incumbency without the associated benefits. Because whatever the government does that is wrong, is going to be on his
shoulders.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And whatever the government does that is good will be said it is Uhuru who did it.
All right. Weda, other than pain, because I know you'll probably say it is pain and that's what causes change. Other than that pain, how do we as Kenyans draw that line between our leadership and where we are today? And we were just talking about this off camera, that the girl who died in Murang'a County because of rabies is purely a reflection of how bad corruption is, because medicine for rabies may have been dispensed. Medicine to ensure that a child like that should not die because of rabies has already gone out, but it's in somebody's pocket. But until we as Kenyans come to the realization and connect those two dots, leadership and where we are today, then we continue to struggle and play the blame game.
You know, if the Kenyan people should realize that we elect leaders to manage things on our behalf, because we cannot, all of us, manage the management. And that management is for us. Therefore, we should change our thinking, change our mind in such a way that when I want to lead, they examine my ability. So that I cannot say that I am going in to support Uhuru. If there's war against Uhuru, I'll punch people. Or I'm going in to support Honorable Raila. Or I'm going in, they should be able to say whether you are a good lawyer. So please don't tell us that if there's boxing, you are going to box people who are playing around with Uhuru. I should be able to say that from Seme constituency, when I go, I want to go and put the following issues to government so that we are able to move forward. Until we are able to make this connection, we will continue the disconnect of leadership. We elected President Uhuru and Deputy President William Ruto on account of Hague. You understand? We vote for Honorable Raila on account of our own, or we need change. So all this, when change has been done, when we have put these leaders, we have nothing in our hands to counter-check. You know, you must have a checklist.
Right.
Say, whether said is going to do this, where are they? Where are they? Where are they?
Although there is a manifesto which we should be able to look at and say these are the promises we are given. Even if we say, for example, take Nairobi as a sample. We have on record the governor for Nairobi, Mike Sonko, saying within 100 days he's going to sort out traffic. He's going to, so the promises are there, and politicians are good at promising. But do we suddenly forget that they made these promises?
Yes, I think that is the part I'm saying, that until we are strong enough to look at the promises and to be able to put people to account and then to use it as a basis for decision next round. So that if Honorable Sonko told us, I'm going to reduce the parking fees, I'm going to put people in Uhuru Park, I'm going to reduce traffic, I'm going to do this, then come the next time, we check it. But when you see that somebody has gone to you game to collect some people to come and give medicine here, some theatrics, then we will continue to suffer. I think our president, for me, and for some of us, he said, railway, Kisumu, Busia, we are waiting for that. And when you ask me this question, 2021, has your president, has your candidate, as somebody you have done, succeeded or failed, how many marks you'll give him? President, I will give you the correct marks. But a lot of it will be on, did the railway reach Kisumu, or it was just posturing? There are others, he promised, health care. Somebody should actually, the president should rein in so that the girl who has been buried in Murang'a, somebody should take responsibility. Some heads should roll. There should be some pain on some people because of theft. So leadership, we must change. The people of Kenya, you have to change. You have to insist on certain things and use it to decide. Let us stop looking at tribe. Let us stop looking at party. Let us stop looking at emotional issues. These are long term. Somebody who comes, if suddenly weather goes to Seme, I am running on 3 choppers. I am buying every church. Every church, when I land, they know weather has come, 1 million. They should be able to say, whether which abracadabra were you doing in Nairobi? that
For you
you are
to get
so
all this
rich,
money.
so
All
suddenly.
right.
Yes.
And maybe, Honorable Kira, you have been in Parliament, and maybe you could answer or let us know. Unfortunately, the job description for parliamentarians and what they actually do are two different things, in the sense that becoming a member of Parliament has become a place of controlling resources, as opposed to coming up with policy. What are some of the things that maybe we need to do to change that so that it is servant leadership? Unfortunately, when members of parliament, or let's say elected members, go there, they really don't serve the Mwananchi. I remember a picture I think we had on the Standard yesterday of one governor whose shoelace had to be done by somebody, and that's just a typical example of not being a servant leader.
Well, there are a number of things that we require as a nation. First of all, we should concentrate on allowing systems to work, so that if it is healthcare, let it reach every person, not through the midwifery of a member of parliament. Now, the resources that go to the constituency, I know during our tenure, we started, the last time I served, with 6 million, and now it's 100 million on average per constituency. I strongly believe those resources should be in a pool, but ring-fenced for the constituency that is designated. But let the decision be collective at the county level, so that at the end of the day, we are able to look at development, let's say, in a place like Trans Nzoia, in a very holistic way. If a road is being done from Kwanza to Cherangani, that road should be complete for ease of communication and ease of transporting our crops to the market. But the issue is that we have created some kind of mini individuals, mini gods, mini presidents, that they are dealing with issues like it belongs to them. Any money to the constituency or to the county does not belong to the governor, does not belong to the MCA, it belongs to the people. And that should be done in that particular way. Number two, I know today, and any member of parliament watching this program can challenge me. No member of parliament today is earning more than 100,000 today, unless they have other ways of making money. What I know, for the 20 years I served as a member of parliament, you start with a salary, with a pay slip that is like 2 inches long. By the time you are 2 years inside parliament, the pay slip will be like a roll that has come, a toilet roll, because there are so many deductions. There is pension, there is a house, there is everything that you can imagine. And therefore, member of parliament does not earn as much money. But we have created this notion that when you go to a place, even for me as a former member of parliament, when I go anywhere, they expect, if other people are giving 5,000 like Weda, and he could be a very serious lawyer in Nairobi, I should be giving 100,000. And this is the notion that we need to disabuse our people of that. So that my work is representation in parliament. My work is also to midwife whatever is going to the constituency, but a midwife does not carry the baby away. This is the way I look at it. Finally, I think we need to change the orientation of our people to understand that it is not the MP that brings development. It is the programs that are set at the county that can bring some semblance of development for the people.
All right. Well, we've talked about corruption and members of parliament or legislators, let me say, being controlling resources. And some jurisdictions, some countries do not allow in their policy for a member of parliament to also engage in business. That is an area that I think in Kenya we need to address, because the minute you have a member of parliament allowed to control resources, number one, but still engage in business, then there's conflict of interest right there. And that's where majority of the money possibly goes to the wrong person, and wrong amounts going to the wrong, used for the wrong reasons.
You'll notice that in Kenya, this is the only place where before you become a member of parliament, even a reliable motorbike, you have to borrow or be assisted with. A decent house which is not leaking. So that immediately you become a member of parliament. That is the day your house is becoming 10 bedroomed. You come back with a Prado, a big one. You come back, you change residence. That is all in Kenya. That means that is a place where you go and make wealth. It's not a place
Almost
where you...
overnight.
Overnight. And it is like guaranteed. I have seen so many people, my colleagues, elected somehow. And then outside, they are very rich. If you take these governors, take even the governor of Nairobi, where do you get 10 million to give 50 million, 100 million? Then when you ask, which business are you running? Which gambling chain are you owning? Which oil company are you running? It is because the oil is the corruption. You go there, you are bought to support bills. You go there, you steal from the CDF. You go there, it is about deals. And these deals are what fuels corruption. A member of parliament should not control resources. If you control it, you will not oversight it. You're supposed to oversight. Mheshimiwa Kirwa, when your pay slip turns into a toilet roll, it's because you have no financial or money intelligence. You just don't know, so you go and live a lie. You see why we beg money from these MPs? Yes. They are living a lie. When they come, they are bodyguards, and they rush, and they are big cars, and they talk big. I was with Honorable Raila, and I was with Honorable Uhuru, and what else? And he has done nothing. What do you expect? You say, give me kitu kidogo, because this is the only thing I can count. all the other panganga you are telling us, we know they are not there. Now, if your brother did not have a bicycle, then he goes to parliament, and they come back in a huge Prado. He has changed residence to Kilimani or Lavington. And then he has changed his suits. And he's building a new house at home. And he has new girlfriends. And so, surely, who are you not to ask him, brother, this new blessing, can we share? That's why we ask them. Otherwise, the ones who promise us, I'll go there, I'll go there. If you take MPs like Bofuli Wakoli, Anyona, the late Anyona, the late Shukuku, Koigi Wamera, quite a number of them. They were on the narrow path, and nobody was begging them. Even if you met them on the street, you will want to share, tell them how we saw so-and-so is stealing, can you go and raise it in parliament? But the others, when you meet them, they have 10 phones. So what do? You say,
give me one.
Give me one. So I think they are authors of their own misfortunes, and they should go back to their job description.
All right, Honorable Kirwa, how do we tame politicians so that we're not forever in a cycle of elections? Right now, we're looking at whether it's a priority for 2022,
yes.
But it looks like it becomes a vicious circle where they know that even if they have bad manners, Kenyans are tickled by, this drama and theatrics and kitu kidogo. How do we tame that culture so that now we have leaders who are development-minded, who are goal-oriented, and even they know that at the point of their term ending, we're going to judge them based on their delivery?
There are two things. One is the issue of going to the fundamentals of leadership. How can we inculcate in our people? I strongly believe people of my generation and older, you can give up on them. But young children, if you are to start at that formative stage, inculcating in them the virtues of leadership, the virtues of servant leadership, the virtues of integrity, they will grow up with that, and society will be better off than it is today. Number two, we just need also to spend more time creating systems that are removing money, ease of access to money by individuals. Because you see what happened in 2013 when there was new upsurge of devolution, where governors thought they were small presidents with motorcade and everything. It was devolution of resources without the most important resource, the human resource component, to advise governors on how to spend. Some of them will go to court and they'll be jailed, not because they wanted to steal, but they never put systems in place, such that everybody was buying everything, buy an old car, as long as it is cheaper, without looking at the regulations. What does it entail? What we need to do is to go back to our fundamentals, follow the procedures, follow the law, and some of these negative things will be reined in or will be restrained. Individuals will be restrained from getting into those excesses. That's the only way. And we should spend more time talking about systems not about individuals. But in Kenya, we talk about individuals. From morning to evening, we worship individuals, and nothing else, and we don't look at the systems. The systems are not right. And even as we talk about the Constitution, you are talking about people, that all people, they are looking for jobs for themselves. What you should be looking at, what is the cost of this Constitution? What are the principles that can make us amend? Is it cost effectiveness, or is it that we feel that service delivery is being compromised? These are some of the fundamentals that we need to engage as a people. And the most important thing, how do we reduce our appetite for tribalism? That is where the rain started beating us.
Okay, and this is a problem that we have faced since independence, and for reasons that we know, historical reasons, that possibly even the colonialists separated and divided us and kept us in tribes. Separate and rule was their way of working. But are we getting any closer to having that behind us? It seems like we're getting further and further from the truth. Honorable Kiro, starting with you, in terms of tribalism.
We're not getting, because it is a more convenient way of getting votes without allowing people to think. Today, we do not know who is going to be the next president, largely because we do not know which tribal coalitions are going to emerge on the eve of the next election.
Okay, allow me to pause you, because I want us to also now just cross over to State House Girls, where again we have the CS for Education, Amina Mohammed, giving a press brief.
So let's pray. Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Mighty God, we thank you for this great day of glory. Thank you, Father, for the visitor that you have had this morning, King of glory. Thank you, Father, because you are blessing us, my God, especially now this paper's work, and listen to the papers that are remaining, King of glory. Father, we pray for the stamina, Lord. We pray that you know that success is our portion, Father. And we know that you are going to get the prize, King of glory. We pray for wisdom, we pray for calmness and serenity in us, oh God. And may we learn today and listen in whatever that we learn through our faith. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, to our room for frisking. Yes. God bless you.
All right. And